These right here are known, or did more research. They do have medicinal qualities and properties, but they're also known as elephant ears, and they're great to put in your property wherever you have large quantity of water. For example, your soak away, your leach fields, and where that you take your washing machine water, you put it there. These are great for that. They consume quite a bit of water. This one right there with the little black spuds on it, my finger kind of caused the camera to change and become blurry. I think that's the closest thing to a papyrus, but I don't know. Here they are again. It's a type of plant that can thrive in water. So those two types of plant that I just highlighted, if you're having issues with your property becoming oversaturated, like for example, say your leach field becomes overwhelmed, or your soak away becomes overwhelmed, you can assist it by planting swamp sunflower, swamp hibiscus, tropical hibiscus, papyrus, elephant ears, and can lilies. Seven or eight of them. Well, it's not 7 or 8, it's 6 of them. Their design and their root system can thrive in an environment that has continuous water, muddy areas, that's also prone to flooding or having too much water, or the area being overwhelmed by water. So those can handle that. They consume a certain amount of water per week. Now the papyrus that I highlighted might not be 100% accurate because I'm not familiar with it, and I've only done research, and the only contact I've been able to come in contact with it physically is via photographs, magazine, book, textbook. We're just brainstorming and looking for different types of options and different types of plants that can survive. That's a noni right here. This is a noni plant. There's a seed or fruit. Ooh, I'm going all the way back there, and there's some right there. So that was just me doing research. They say part of being brilliant, magnificent, is that you recognize that every day is a chance and opportunity to learn something new, right? So that's what I'm doing, educating, empowering myself, and becoming better at what I do. Just hiking in a different area and taking you along for the journey, for the adventure. Oops, daisy. Never been, so let's just keep on going with this adventure. First time coming through here too, so bear with. I hope I don't have to track back. I'm hoping there's an outlet. Not a little bit of information that I stumble upon that made me embarrassed to be a man that used tools, because it shows that the pirates, again, I mean, sometimes we gotta be a little bit more open-minded, because the pirates were brilliant at what they do. They use, I think they had like 4 different types of chemicals that they used to help preserve steel, or their weapons, guns, knives, swords. Another thing that was critical for their survival, because I'm in a new environment and I'm watching corrosion take place. So I'm like struggling to keep up. So that's why I was doing research, trying to figure out how to stop it or preserve and cure my equipment and my tools and things that I need for survival. One of them is I found out that fish oil, pirates used to soak and use fish oil on their items. I think I should have stayed a little bit longer on that road and kept on going up, because this is a high traffic area, and you can see even in low traffic areas, drivers are aggressive and they're inconsiderate towards pedestrians. So yeah, back to the preservation of steel and different materials. So they used fish oil. That was one of them. Another one that they used to use, a second one that is critical, I might be drawn on a loop there, a stump, but they used to do quenching technique. So the quenching technique was they would heat up the steel and get it orange hot, and then once they got it orange hot, then they would quench it. They would either dip it in water or oil. They claimed that oil was even better than the water, for the fact that it quenched the material at a rapid pace. The oil did not, and that also left a layer of protective layer on top of the steel. It also made the steel somewhat more resistant to corrosion and rust. I do believe they used to also use tar as well. Polish and clean the steel guns, cannons and all that stuff with tar. They would heat it up and then put a coat on it, and then they would quickly heat it up again, and it would turn the steel black, or cause it to become blackened. And the reason for the blackened was also for like when they're doing raids at night or early mornings or late evening. If the sunlight, the moonlit, if it would not reflect the sunlight. So the steel, because you know, if it was, you know, had the normal color, it would not, it would reflect light, give off their location and alert whoever they were going after. That's three different way that they used to, grass picking man, they used to preserve their steel. There are several techniques, and all this would be done, you know, consistently. They wouldn't just do it once or twice. They would also soak it in coconut oil as well. Once they got the desired level of sheen and protection over the steel, after like rainstorms, thunderstorms, hurricane, and major like salt water, seawater splashing on board, they would also wash and clean their steel with fresh water. The technique that they used to preserve and made sure the steel was the best quality, the technique that they used to preserve and make sure the steel was of best quality when they desperately need it for survival, super exceed the consumption of water. So it means that they would wash and clean the salt water, spray off their equipment and stuff, over having some for drinking or consumption, for human consumption. They would also have their stuff once. I would assume that they didn't do it to the cannons, the large cannons. They probably did it to the smaller ones. But the small guns, handheld stuff, swords, knives and stuff would also be wrapped with a specific fabric that had like possibly the fish oil, coconut oil, saturated. The fabric was saturated with coconut and fish oil, and then they would wrap that stuff too. They would store it in areas of the ship where moisture from the salty ocean or the salty air wouldn't be able to come in contact with it. I'm saying this because I'm also like starting to look at some of my equipments and figure out how can I use these techniques to help preserve my equipment that are steel, stainless steel base, cast iron. So I'm just hiking around, doing my little errand, using this time to be productive as well. There's a shortcut. There are no sidewalks in certain parts of the road, so be mindful as you step off. So I'm hiking. I think I miscalculated it. I'm not used to doing the walking distance as much, so I miscalculated my time to this place. So I will just spin by, stop in and see if I can and I'm taking a different route. The route that I took earlier was Google Map, trying to do it from memory but take a different direction. because Google Map gave me the longer route. Yeah, so this is where I'm coming at. It's a laundromat. This is where I'm coming to. Side has a better lighting. I'm going to come back because I'm way too early. I was under the impression that me recording would slow me down, but it seemed like it actually did the opposite. Stumble upon this. Yeah, shopping around for incense. Now I'm just gonna go back here and have an early supper. I normally don't cut on this side. I try to go on the other side with the sidewalk. It's a lot safer, but there's quite a bit of traffic moving through today, so I'm not gonna chance it. Just gonna move forward. And back to the pirate thing, they also would be constantly repolishing and recleaning their tools. And that's the backside of the lagoon. Got some baby coconuts over there. This plant right here is great for blood cleansing. It's also great for heat stroke, and it's something that you can also boil up and shower and clean and wash your skin with. That's the largest organ in the human body. You can also drink it as a tea to help detox and clean your blood as well. And like I said, it can be used to wash the skin if you have heat stroke internally and externally as well. These jokers also call the cops on me. I don't know what it is about me and having people just be presumptuous and assume that I'm out doing something illegal. All I was doing today was just talking about how I can figure out new ways and how to do rust prevention against my tools, share the information, and as I'm here on the island, I'm learning that leach field soap, it gets so saturated and it loses the water that it rises to the surface. I just figured I would do my part by like highlighting different types of flowers and plants that you can plant that consume 5 gallons plus water weekly. Most people don't know that plants have a water filtration system where it can purify and clean water. The human body does the same thing as well. I saw the cops, they came by twice. And I'm like, instead of like being man enough and stop and chat with me and figure out a feasible solution, be solution oriented and chat with me, instead of just continually and constantly showing up as I'm moving about, we could just be solution oriented and then have a mature conversation between men, to not have them waste their time running around doing nothing, because there are certain parts of the town and certain places where camera is highlighted and they do a lot of illegal activities there, and they do nothing about those cats, those guys that are breaking the law right there in certain areas, walking distance of like certain buildings. I'm not going to highlight it because I'm a little emotional and I said something that I should not have said or add to this video, but it's just frustrating because I'm not breaking the law. If you say breaking the law is coming to pick up my laundry, record while I'm doing that and being productive and coming and getting some supper and supporting local business, then whew, my definition of breaking the law is way off at this point. I think those are the baby palms that you use to do a thatch roof with as well. Roofing store right there.